What's going on, guys? My name is Cody, Captain Packer at 1 on YouTube, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about air up tools. I've been using just a standard, fill gauge digital, this power tank, through a single hose, but on an ARB twin air compressor for the last about 4 years. And my biggest complaint is that the ARB twin compressor, once you fill up 1 or 2 tires, starts to get really slow. Traditionally, through a normal fill gauge. I air down to about 8 psi, typically for trail use, and I daily drive this thing, and when I air it back up, I go to about 33 psi. And that has taken quite a bit of time as it slows down and loses efficiency. The compressor itself gets really hot and just, like I said, loses efficiency. So I've been listening to, I want to give a shout out a little bit to Snail Trail 4x4 podcast, and Tyler and Jimmy have talked about this Morrflate, which is a product of Tyler's. He makes these and sells them. I bought a Morrflate Duo, so it basically has 2 hoses connect to up to 2 tires, and it fills off of a single port, and it has a on-off valve. I'm going to show you guys some of the awesome benefits. I'm going to do a time basically challenge against a single fill gauge through a single hose on a single tire, and 2 tires at once. So let's do it. So first test we're going to do is an air down and fill up. I've been using an ARB deflator, quick deflator. Basically spin that sucker onto the valve stem. You screw the valve stem out, pops out, and then this piece here will move back and just dumps air out. It's a pretty simple device. You can see, if you maybe see it down inside there, there's a little hole which allows the air. It's pretty quick. I can do a tire about a minute and a half. I think, I'm not entirely sure, but we're going to find out exactly how long it takes. And then after that, we are going to go ahead and do a single tire fill up on a cold air compressor and time it. That should give us pretty good results, as the compressor is cold. It should be running at its best, most optimal performance. So I'm gonna go ahead and get set up, and we'll go ahead and shoot this. All right, so I've got it threaded onto the valve stem. Push down. Go ahead and start pulling the valve stem out. You can kind of see there on the stem, on the gauge. If I can get you moved a little closer here, you can see I've got pressure built up in there. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this. It'll be a little loud. I'm gonna go ahead and air down. So we're at about 13 psi right there. And that is right at 10 psi in about a minute. Go ahead and screw that back on. Needle drops all the way. And then go ahead and thread it from the valve stem. Pretty self-explanatory here. It's a pretty neat tool. It's the one I've been using for the last several years. Alright, so I'm all hooked up with my power tank fill stem here, single tire fill up, and let's go ahead and time it. 3, here we go. We're currently at 17.4 at PSI. .8. .6 even. .30. We're gonna go to 32, 33. .32.2. A little more here. .33.5. 2 minutes 57 seconds, 0.91. So that gives you a single tire fill up time on a cold ARB twin air compressor. So let's go ahead and disconnect and I'll show you the Morrflate's features and speed. Okay guys, so now we're going to test the Morrflate. As you can see, I have lines. One's running over there to the rear passenger tire. One's running over to the rear driver tire. If I flip this valve, it's going to go ahead and start airing down both tires at once. And there we go. We're off to the races. We'll go ahead and use the power tank digital gauge to measure pressures through the stem here on the rear. So just unscrew that. It's got a Schrader valve on the bottom of it. Take and pop this gauge in here. And so it currently reads 0. And as soon as I shut this off, it'll build pressure. So both tires are currently at 25.2. So we're at 0. Builds pressure. We're at 23.2. Down to 1 tire. Down to the other tire. .3 on both tires. .15 psi. .6. Hard to read it there. A little more, and we'll go ahead and shut it off there. That's 10.6. So Morrflate did both tires down to 10.6 in the rear. Pretty neat. Alright, so now we have our original 1 tire time on the ARB compressor. It's a little warm, not bad. Let's go ahead and I'm going to reset the time back to 0. And as soon as I flip this lever up here, just camera, this lever on the Morrflate, we'll go ahead and hit start and time a 2 tire fill. 3, 2, 1, go. PSI. And there we go, right on at 33 and 507/45 on a compressor that was already getting a little warm from a single tire fill. Pretty awesome. Alright guys, so another really cool feature of the Morrflate is I have aired down one tire down to roughly 11 PSI. You can see that I have one end. I can continue to air it down by flipping that open. Now, for example, we're on the trail. We get a tire that's starting to go a little low. We can go ahead and, instead of just pulling the compressor out, or hey, maybe you just you don't want to have to, your buddy aired one tire down, you want to equalize pressures between two tires and get yourself to limp by, or you have a buddy that had a tire go low and your compressor's not working, you can go ahead and plug this here end into your other tire. And give it a couple minutes here, and it will instantly equalize both tires. It'll take a couple minutes to go ahead and do that, but while it's doing that, we can kind of sit here and watch your pressures change. So that tire was at 33, this tire was at 9, 10 psi, maybe a little higher, 11, and the gauge is still moving. It's at 23.1, and it's dropping, which means both tires are equalizing in pressure with the Morrflate Duo connected. It's continuing to drop. It is at 22.1 psi. It's still going. So if we go ahead and disconnect one tire, it will stop, and we can take a look at where our pressures are in the opposite tire. We're at 18.5, so that tire went up about 8 or 9 psi. Pretty damn awesome. I can go back down if I want, but I think we're going to go ahead and use the sweet Morrflate to air up the rear tires, and I'll get this video out to you guys. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Keep wheeling.